Yesterday, we finished this paragraph about Vimangsaka Sutta, where the Buddha gives 3 methods to assess the teacher, especially the Buddha himself. The first one is to take a look at the Buddha's mind, whether the Buddha's mind is free from all defilements. The second one, not all people can look through, directly see into the Buddha's mind. So what can we do? We can rely on indirect evidence. By evaluating the Buddha's bodily deeds and speech, we can infer that the Buddha's mental states are exclusively pure, uninfluenced by greed, hatred, and delusion. The last method, the Buddha also encourages the monk to approach him and inquire about his mental states directly. Let's read the next paragraph. Once the pupil gains confidence that the Buddha is a qualified teacher, he then puts the master to the ultimate test. What is the ultimate test? He learns his teaching, enters upon the practice, and penetrates the Dhamma by direct knowledge. This act of penetration here, equivalent at minimum to the attainment of stream entry, brings the gain of invincible faith. The faith of one who is established upon the irreversible path leading to final release. So this is actually the 4th method. After gaining confidence with the Buddha, then one learns the teaching, enters upon the practice, and penetrates the Dhamma by direct knowledge. And this is when one gains the unshakable confidence. Here is mentioned invincible faith to the Buddha and to the Dhamma. Next paragraph, Sister Choi Kwan, would you like to read?
Taken in isolation, the Vimangsaka Sutta might give the impression that one acquires faith only after gaining realization of the teaching. And since realization is self-validating, faith would then become redundant. This impression, however, would be one-sided. The point the sutta is making is that faith becomes invincible as a result of realization, not that faith first enters the spiritual path only when one attains realization. Faith is the first of the 5 spiritual faculties, and in some degree as trusting confidence in the Buddha's enlightenment and in the main principles of his teaching. It is a prerequisite for the higher training. We see faith functioning in this preparatory role in text chapter 3.5, a long excerpt from the Chanki Sutta. Here the Buddha explains that a person who has faith in something preserves true. When he says, "This is my faith," he preserves true, because he merely states what he believes without jumping to the conclusion that what he believes is definitely true and anything else contrary to it is false. The Buddha contrasts the preservation of truth, Sangha with the discovery of truth, Sangha, which begins by placing faith in a teacher who has proved himself worthy of trust. Having gained faith in such a teacher, one then approaches him for instruction, learns the Dhamma, practices it according to a series of steps more finely calibrated than in the preceding text, and finally sees the supreme truth for oneself. Thank you.
Thanks, Sister Choi Kwan. Let's take a look. Okay, so this paragraph talks about, if we taken in isolation, the previous sutta, the Vimangsaka Sutta, might give the false impression that one acquires faith only after gaining realization. But this impression is not necessarily correct. So let me highlight this. The point of the sutta is that faith becomes invisible as a result of realization, not that faith first enters the spiritual path only when one attains realization. What does that mean? It means that in our path, even before realization, faith is needed. So I was thinking about this. I too have this false impression that, because the Buddha says ehipassiko, directly invites us to see. So it does not necessarily, I have to have faith right at the beginning. That was my wrong impression, past impressions. Now that I think about it, actually, even outside Buddhism, I require a lot of faith to be functioning as a human in this world. How? When I just walk out and then I have to go down, I have faith that the lift is working. That's why I took the lift. If I take the bus, I have the faith that the bus that I take will bring me, I have faith in the system that the bus driver would bring me to the right place after checking it before. What else? When we buy food in the supermarket, for example, we have faith that it's not poison. That's why we can consume it safely. Actually, a lot of things that we do requires a lot of faith. It's not like only after the bus reaches the destination that we have faith. No, right? It is because the bus reaches the destination that our faith becomes realized and strengthened. So this is interesting to me. Okay, next paragraph. Sister Second, would you like to read?
This does not mark the end of the road for the disciple, but only the initial breakthrough to the truth. Again, corresponding to the attainment of stream entry. Having achieved the vision of truth, to reach the final arrival at truth, Satchanupatti, that is the attainment of arahantship or final liberation, one must repeat, develop, and cultivate the same series of steps until one has fully absorbed and assimilated the supreme truth disclosed by the initial vision. Thus, the entire process of training in the Dhamma is rooted in personal experience. Even faith should be rooted in investigation and inquiry, and not based solely upon emotional leanings and blind belief. Faith alone is insufficient, but is the door to deeper levels of experience. Faith serves as a spur to practice. Practice leads to experiential understanding, and when one's understanding matures, it blossoms in full realization.
Thanks, Sister Second. This paragraph starts with when you attain the stream entry. Let's see, highlight this. One still must repeat, develop, and cultivate the same series of steps until one has fully absorbed the supreme truth. This line actually is pretty, I like this line. Even faith should be rooted in investigation and inquiry, not based solely on emotional leanings and blind belief. I think this is what sets apart Buddhism from other spiritual systems too. Well, all systems have faith, even Buddhism requires faith, but the faith should be rooted. Here Bhikkhu says, investigation, inquiry, keep asking questions, be curious. And if you're stuck, ask your teacher a question or ask someone around you. Gain clarity, remove the doubt. While other spiritual systems, you might not be encouraged to do that. Even you're discouraged to question. Why you have so much questions? Then okay, I cannot have questions. Okay, then I just have faith. Then I just believe. So the opposite is encouraged in Buddhism. Yeah, you are encouraged to ask many, many, many questions until you remove your doubts. In fact, this is what I did with Shifu. I had a lot of questions and then I clarify. I ask him questions whenever the opportune moments arises, whether it be one-on-one with him or in a public talk in the SGC. Yeah. So how to come up with questions? Yeah. You can use the most important questions for me is the one that involves why. Yeah. And secondly, the one that involves how. Usually what and who doesn't matter that much. Yeah. What to do, who does that. Yeah. I mean, it's good to know, but it doesn't really important to me. Okay, that concludes the introduction. Any questions or comments? Okay, if not, maybe you can read a little bit more. Let's see. Actually, this is a pretty long sutta. Okay, I think we can stop here and then we will dive into the sutta next time. So if no questions or comments, for now, let's do a dedication. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了，普愿罪障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛。Till we meet again, may we be guided by the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Have a faithful Saturday ahead. Thanks everyone for participating. See you guys next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.